July 12th, 1933. Washington, D.C. was heavy with summer heat and whispers of panic. Inside the U.S. Treasury, a small group of men gathered around a wooden table, staring at a single sheet of paper, a design for a brand new dollar note that would never see the light of day. It was supposed to be America's proudest symbol of recovery during the Great Depression. But before it could be printed, the plan vanished, sealed away, erased from every record. No one outside those walls ever saw the design again. Some say it was destroyed for political reasons. Others claim it still exists, locked in a vault beneath the Federal Reserve. But what was this mysterious dollar that never existed? And why did the most powerful men in America want it gone? The 1930s weren't just about economic collapse. They were about faith. Faith in paper, in gold, and in government. Banks failed daily. Unemployment hit record highs, and millions of Americans began questioning whether money itself still had meaning. President Franklin D. Roosevelt faced an impossible challenge: restore confidence in a nation that had lost faith in its own currency. Gold was vanishing from vaults as citizens hoarded it in fear. The dollar, once a global pillar of strength, was collapsing under the weight of speculation and mistrust. That's when the Treasury's Bureau of Engraving and Printing began developing something radical, a new design for the U.S. dollar, one that would symbolize rebirth, strength, and a new economic order. Early sketches revealed something unusual. A redesigned eagle, wings outstretched across nearly the entire note. A new motto: confidence in labor and industry. And most controversially, the absence of "In God We Trust." This new dollar wasn't just a piece of paper, it was a political statement, a vision of money backed not by gold, but by human productivity, Roosevelt's dream for a modern, recovery-driven America. But behind the design, powerful enemies were watching. Industrial magnates, Wall Street bankers, and even foreign interests feared what this people's dollar represented: the death of the gold standard and their control. Within months, quiet resistance began to spread, and soon the project would disappear altogether, leaving behind only rumors and fragments. Inside the engraving department, master designer Leland Rossman worked tirelessly on the mysterious dollar. Rossman wasn't just an artist. He believed currency was psychology. He once said, "If people believe in a piece of paper, it becomes power." His prototype was strikingly modern. The note featured balanced geometry inspired by the Art Deco movement, a bridge between industrial progress and human order. At the center, instead of a portrait, stood a bold emblem, a gear intertwined with wheat, symbolizing labor and growth. Roosevelt's administration loved it. They believed this note could become the emotional restart the nation needed, a way to tell every citizen America still works. But not everyone shared the enthusiasm. Critics within Congress labeled it a socialist propaganda. Banking lobbyists called it a political currency. Rossman's design challenged everything the elite stood for, especially the idea that money must be tied to gold, not people. By late 1933, whispers reached the president's desk that the new dollar could disturb financial order and encourage unrest. That phrase was enough. Within a week, the Bureau received a sealed memo: cease production indefinitely. All sketches, engravings, and master plates were to be locked away permanently. And so, America's most revolutionary dollar vanished before it was even born. Months later, rumors began to surface among Treasury staff that the plates for the new dollar had not been destroyed, only hidden. In the basement vaults of the Bureau of Engraving and Printing, guards reported sealed boxes marked only with the letters D-N-E, short, perhaps, for dollar never existed. Some swore they'd seen the plates themselves, intricate engravings coated in protective wax, locked inside steel drawers. Others said Rossman himself had disappeared soon after the project's cancellation, quietly transferred to an unknown assignment in South America. But the timing was no coincidence. 1934 marked the official end of the U.S. gold standard. The dollar was now backed by faith, not gold. And yet, the note that was supposed to symbolize that faith never appeared. Why? Some historians believe the design symbolism, labor in unity, clashed with America's growing corporate identity. Others suggest the Federal Reserve intervened, fearing the public might demand a new form of people's currency. In truth, the dollar that never existed became more than a design. It became a metaphor for a country that promised rebirth but remained chained to old powers. During lessons, reflections, or modern parallels, the 1940s brought war, unity, and prosperity. Factories roared again, men went to battle, women filled workplaces, and the American dollar reclaimed its global power. Yet, the dream behind the vanished dollar, that money could be a symbol of shared progress, faded quietly. Instead, the post-war years birthed a different kind of wealth: corporate empires, Wall Street dominance, and consumerism. Historians later found that elements of Rossman's new dollar design reappeared subtly in bond wars and propaganda posters, slogans about work, unity, and strength. But the note itself remained buried, locked away in secrecy. By the time the 1950s arrived, even its name was forgotten. Only a few archival notes remained, references to an experimental currency prototype, never released to the public. Rossman's belief that faith in labor could back a nation's money had vanished, replaced once again by faith in profit. In 1978, nearly half a century later, historian Dr. Ellen Whitmore stumbled upon a sealed Treasury memo labeled Project DNE Terminated. Inside were fragments of correspondence between Rossman and Treasury officials. The letters spoke cryptically of design resistance, external pressure, and political interference. Whitmore's discovery reignited interest in the lost note. She published an article titled "The Dollar That Never Existed," sparking a wave of financial conspiracy theories. Some claimed the design had been secretly adopted by Roosevelt's New Deal bonds. Others insisted it was buried because it contained hidden symbols, even links to the Freemasons or early Federal Reserve societies. But Whitmore's research revealed something more human. Rossman's final note to the Bureau read simply, "If faith can move markets, then truth can bankrupt them." A chilling line, one that hinted he'd seen how fragile America's financial system truly was. After her publication, Whitmore reportedly received anonymous warnings to stop pursuing the story. She didn't. But by the 1980s, Whitmore vanished from public life, her archive sealed by her estate. And just like that, America's most revolutionary dollar vanished before it was ever printed. The mystery of the vanished dollar forces us to ask, what gives money its power? Gold, ink, or belief? Every empire in history has depended on one illusion, that paper has value because people agree it does. The dollar that never existed challenged that illusion by tying value to human effort, not wealth. If the note had been released, America might have followed a different economic philosophy, one closer to social democracy, where labor and contribution define worth. But by burying it, the system preserved something else: dependence on centralized power and financial elites. Ironically, Rossman's unrealized design became prophetic. By the 21st century, new currencies of belief would emerge again: cryptocurrencies, digital tokens, systems backed only by faith in code. Perhaps the ghost of the dollar that never existed still lingers, whispering, "Value is not in gold or paper, but in people." Comparing past to present, linking 1933 to crypto era, linking 1933 to crypto era. When Bitcoin appeared in 2009, it revived Rossman's dream, a currency of belief built not on metal but on trust. And in a strange way, it fulfilled Rossman's 1933 dream: money built on trust, not treasure. The parallels are uncanny. Rossman's design connected gears and wheat, symbols of productivity and cooperation. Bitcoin connected computers and networks, the new gears of the digital age. But history's irony runs deep. Just as the old elites buried Rossman's idea, new digital elites now dominate crypto markets. Power shifts form, but never disappears. The lesson? Every time humanity tries to redefine value, those who profit from the old system push back. The dollar that never existed may be gone, but its warning remains. Control money and you control belief itself. Today, collectors whisper about a single surviving print, a partial engraving said to have escaped destruction. Its alleged owner, an anonymous archivist, claims to keep it locked in a private collection. If real, it would be priceless. Not for its material, but for its message. Proof that for one brief moment, America dared to redesign not just its money, but its values. Some say the ghost of Rossman's idea still haunts the dollar's design, in the hidden symbols, in the pyramid, and the eye. Not as conspiracy, but as memory. A reminder that money is never just economics, it's belief, trust, and story. Perhaps that's why this mystery endures. Because deep down, we all wonder, what if the dollar that never existed had become real? Would our world still worship profit or purpose?
At the very end, we will tell you. The story of the dollar that never existed isn't about lost paper. It's about a lost possibility, a different kind of economy, where value was human, not corporate. Every generation faces its own version of Rossman's challenge to decide what gives money meaning: gold, data, or faith. Maybe one day we'll rediscover the courage to print another impossible dollar, one that serves not the few, but the many. Until then, the legend of the dollar that never existed remains our mirror, showing us what we could be if we dared to believe differently. If this story made you rethink the power behind money, hit like, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to BankNote, where we uncover the mysteries hidden inside every piece of currency. Because sometimes the truth is worth more than money itself.